Hello and a warm welcome to News Central Studios. I'm Felicity Ezewike here with the stories making headlines beyond the continent. We'll begin in North America, where former U.S. President Donald Trump has gone through his checklist of conspiracy theories in a conversation with his uber-wealthy supporter Elon Musk that was initially derailed by what the tech titan said was a technical glitch. During the discussion on X, Trump expressed his fears of an impending zombie apocalypse due to immigration. He also discussed creating a new missile defense system that would be modeled after the one that protects Israel. Costa Rica's Coast Guard have intercepted a semi-submersible vessel carrying about 2 tons of cocaine, about 148 kilometers off the Central American country's South Pacific coast. U.S. patrol aircraft located the vessel at night and notified Costa Rican authorities so that the Coast Guard Special Intervention Group could intercept the semi-submersible. The detainees tried to sink the ship when they were intercepted without success. The Costa Rican authority had been warned by the Colombian government about the suspicious cargo.
Dos ciudadanos colombianos y un ciudadano ecuatoriano son los detenidos en esta operación antinarcóticos que se efectuó a más de 80 millas náuticas de Golfito.
To South America now, where Venezuela's parliament, controlled by the ruling Chavistas, is set to push for regulation of social media by reforming an anti-hate law often used to charge opponents, legislative leader George Rodriguez said Monday. The initiative is part of a package of laws promoted by the parliamentary leader, which also includes the approval of a law to regulate NGOs and another to punish fascism, a term with which the government also usually refers to its detractors.
Vamos a dedicarnos a la tarea en este periodo de sesiones durante el receso parlamentario a aprobar un paquete de leyes que usted ha solicitado para poder cuidar y defender a nuestra población del odio, de las expresiones de odio social, del terrorismo y de la difusión de ideas fascistas y de ideas de odio en la...
Let's go back to a fast story on the conversation between former U.S. President Donald Trump and his wealthy supporter, Elon Musk. I'm joined now for more on this by our international correspondent, Afua Hagan. Afua, it's good to have you on the news. Can you fact-check for us the main points of the conversation in the exchange between Trump and Musk?
Yes, a lot of fact-checking needs to be done on this conversation. It wasn't done in real time between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but he went over lots of his key areas that he likes to talk about when he's in these conversations. The first, of course, was Kamala Harris. He said that she was third-rate, incompetent, and a radical left lunatic. He also claimed that Joe Biden was forced to leave his position in what he called a coup. Then he went on to talk about crime. Now, his claim was our crime rates going through the roof. Now, that claim has been debunked. Both violent crime and property crime have dropped significantly in the United States in 2023 and into the first quarter of 2024. Then Trump went on to talk about global warming and sea levels. He argued that the threat of nuclear war was more important than the threat posed by climate change, which is ironic considering he's talking to Elon Musk, who has pioneered electric cars. He said that the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch in the next 400 years. That is wildly inaccurate. The global average sea level is rising more.
Okay, I think we have an internet.
purport his big lie about the 2020 election. And that's where he continues saying that the election was stolen and that the legitimacy of the 2020 election is still in question and that it was a rigged election, of all of which we know are not true.
What has been the wider reaction to this online conversation between the two?
Well, the fact that this was a 2-hour conversation that was preceded by 40 minutes of people trying to get online, trying to listen in spaces, and they couldn't. Some people have alluded to how chaotic this whole thing is. Now, Elon Musk is saying that there was a cyber attack, and that's the reason why they had delays with their tech. But actually, a lot of tech experts are saying that the X platform just doesn't have the engineering capabilities under Elon Musk that it used to have. And that, in fact, is why the platform failed, because it couldn't cope with the amount of people that were trying to watch in real time. Kamala Harris has given her reaction on her own X page to the chat. She said that Trump's entire campaign is in service of people like Elon Musk and himself, self-obsessed rich guys who cannot run a live stream in the year 2024. Other people were talking about how Donald Trump sounded on that live stream, that perhaps he had a lisp or he was slurring his words, but that could have been down to the technical glitches also.
Is this a turning point, in your view, for Trump's presidential campaign?
Well, this has been a completely unprecedented campaign. I mean, nobody could have predicted Donald Trump being or attempting to be assassinated at that rally. We perhaps could have predicted Joe Biden stepping down from the presidential race. We never thought we would see Donald Trump on Spaces on X, conversating with Elon Musk. And whilst I don't think it's a turning point, I think it's an important moment in Donald Trump's campaign. He's trying to re-energize his campaign. He's on the back foot at the moment because his campaign was centered around Joe Biden and a divided Democratic Party, and a candidate who perhaps was too old and whose cognitive abilities were in question. And now you have the opposite. You have a younger female candidate of color. You have a united Democratic Party, and that's not what Trump thought he would be up against. So now he's trying to pivot and he's trying to re-energize the campaign, and this was one way that him and his advisors thought he would do that. This is about reaching, the undecided voters or people who use X, and perhaps younger voters who engage in politics differently. Using X and speaking to Elon Musk in this way was a way of Trump doing that. So I don't know if it's a turning point, but it's certainly a significant point in the US election. Remember, we've got the Democratic National Convention next week taking place in Chicago, and that's going to dominate the headlines absolutely. And that's something that also former President Donald Trump doesn't like at all.
All right, Afua, thank you for speaking with us. A Peruvian court has ordered a Ukrainian man to be held in pretrial detention for 9 months after he confessed to murdering and dissecting a Russian woman at a spiritual therapy clinic in the Amazon. 38-year-old Ukrainian Ivan Okozmin at a body and mind rehabilitation center in Peru became friends with 44-year-old Russian Lyudmila Lazarenko, his victim. Witnesses informed the prosecution that the attacker was discovered utterly deranged and holding a knife in the Russian citizen's room when he was apprehended with parts of her body. In Europe, 91 civil protection firemen from the Var area of southeast France have departed in several firefighting trucks for Greece, where a large fire is now blazing on the outskirts of Athens. Gerald Darmanin, outgoing French Minister of the Interior, announced that around 180 firemen and rescue personnel, as well as the 55 trucks dispatched as reinforcements, are part of a European Union civil protection mechanism set up in 2001.
On a 91 sapeurs-sauveteurs qui partent par la route aider nos camarades grecs en vertu du mécanisme de protection civile de l'Union européenne. Donc on sera 31 véhicules à traverser en bateau entre l'Italie et la Grèce et pour aller renforcer nos camarades sur les gros feux qui se déroulent sur la région d'Athènes. Là, on est dans une très grande humilité parce qu'on a vu les vidéos, donc on sait que c'est des très grands feux. Donc il va falloir que nous, on applique tout notre savoir-faire pour lequel on s'entraîne toute l'année, s'engager en sécurité et s'engager surtout selon les normes d'engagement grecques. Donc ça va demander d'abord une phase d'observation et surtout de garantir la sécurité de nos sapeurs-sauveteurs. Il va falloir qu'on comprenne bien aussi comment sont organisés les autres moyens, puisqu'un feu, on ne peut pas lutter contre tout seul et la sécurité est assurée par la bonne compréhension de la situation tactique. Donc ça va être ça la difficulté. On va essayer de se renseigner déjà sur la route.
Two Canada Air CL-415 firefighting planes has taken off from a military airport in Rome, heading for Greece, where they will help authorities fighting a three-day wildfire. Images also shows Italian firefighters driving from Brindisi, from where they will also head to Greece to lend their support. The fire, which broke out on Sunday and fueled by strong winds, has raced across a parched landscape and devastated 10,000 hectares of land. The Greek government appealed for assistance from other European nations. In the meantime, the fire has badly hit at least 6 suburbs. Greece's National Observatory itself, threatened by the wildfire, said temperatures are up to 38 degrees Celsius are expected on Tuesday, with winds of up to 39 kilometers per hour. Let's also tell you that Ukraine government says it is not interested in taking over territory it had captured during its cross-border incursion into Russia's Kursk region, calling Ukrainian operations there absolutely legitimate. During the press conference, a Ukrainian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said Ukraine is not interested in taking over the territory of the Kursk region, but wants to protect the lives of the people.
Що близько 1000 квадратних кілометрів Україна контролює території в цій операції. Я тут можу підкреслити те, що на відміну від Росії, Україні чуже не потрібно. Україна не зацікавлена в тому, щоб там забирати територію Курської області, але ми хочемо захистити життя своїх людей Росії. А поки Путін цю війну продовжує, він буде отримувати від України такі відповіді, яких Україна потребує. І це абсолютно легітимні дії України, зокрема в рамках реалізації права на самозахист згідно з статутом.
Ukraine has launched a surprise offensive into the Russian border region of Kursk on Tuesday, capturing over 24 towns and villages in a most significant cross-border attack on Russian soil since World War II. The incursion comes as Russia's Ukraine offensive stretches through its third year, with Russian forces holding swathes of Ukrainian territory and firing barrages of missiles and drones at Ukrainian cities. Over 120,000 people have fled the fighting in Kursk region, according to authorities, with volunteers gathering donations at a public sector humanitarian aid center in Moscow for those seeking refuge in the capital.
Начали адресно собирать гуманитарную помощь для Курской области с пятницы, и за выходные увидели очень большой всплеск активности у москвичей. Более сотни благодарителей за эти 2 дня уже пришли в штабы, принесли гуманитарную помощь. Это большой объем, на самом деле, помощи, который был собран за эти выходные. Мы видим, что...
Мне кажется, что такие ситуации очень сплачивают нас всех, когда ты понимаешь, что человеку в другом, пусть и регионе, пусть и не так далеко или далеко, нужна твоя помощь. Это очень важно, и в такие моменты, конечно, нет никаких мыслей, кроме как обязательно прийти, помочь, сделать все, что ты можешь, хотя бы вот так, купить продукты.
In the Middle East, Hamas military wing says 2 of its guards have shot and killed 1 Israeli male hostage held in Gaza and seriously wounded 2 female hostages. Spokesman for the Al-Qassam brigades, Abu Ubaida, said that the shootings had happened in 2 separate incidents and that attempts are being made to save the lives of those wounded. This is the first time that Hamas has said that its guards have killed hostages during the continuing war in Gaza. Previously, it has said that hostages have been killed by Israeli airstrikes. Hamas statement comes as talks aimed at ending the war and bringing home remaining hostages are due to resume in Cairo or Doha on Thursday, and Israel has said that it will send a delegation to meet mediators from the US, Egypt and Qatar. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday told Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas that Moscow is concerned about civilian deaths in Gaza, and he pledged to do everything to support Palestine and Palestinian people. Putin added that the only way to create long-lasting, reliable, stable peace in the region is the implementation of all UN resolutions and the creation of a fully fledged Palestinian state. The Kremlin has repeatedly criticized Israel's response to the October 7 attacks and called for restraint.
Прежде всего, конечно, переживаем за потери среди гражданского населения. По данным ООН, это уже 40 тысяч человек. И в основном, главным образом, это женщины и дети.
Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has called on the government not to attend upcoming Gaza ceasefire talks, urging it to put Hamas on their knees. His comments come after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office last Thursday said an Israeli delegation will attend ceasefire for hostage talks with Hamas on August 15 to negotiate for the release of hostages abducted by the Palestinian terror group and held in the Gaza Strip for over 10 months. The hostages were taken during a devastating Hamas-led attack on October 7 that killed 1,200 people in Israel and set off the ongoing war in Gaza. The armed wing of the Palestinian group Hamas says its militants had shot and killed an Israeli hostage and wounded 2 others. We brought you that story just moments ago. Moving on now. In Asia, senior representative of the South American bloc, MOSO, and China resumed talks with a view to deepening their relationship. The meeting is at the request of Uruguay, the current pro tempore president of the bloc and promoter of a free trade agreement with the Asian giant. The meeting was attended by delegates of equal rank from the 4 founding countries. Founded in 1991, MOSO is the main recipient of foreign investment in South America and has a GDP of $2.86 trillion. In the last half of 2023, China was the main destination for MOSO exports and imports, according to the most recent statistical report from the bloc's secretariat. And finally, Pakistan's former spy master, Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, who was once tipped for the army's top job, has been taken into military custody. He has been accused of abusing his power and raiding a private property development business during his time as head of the Inter-Service Intelligence ISI agency. He led the ISI during Mr. Khan's administration from 2019 to 2021 before taking early retirement in December 2022. The Army's official statement said the arrest of General Hamid was ordered by the Supreme Court. It's also noted there had also been multiple instances of violation of the Pakistan Army Act since his retirement. There is also speculation that the arrest reflects a willingness to take action against those who were seen as backing Imran Khan, who has been imprisoned for more than a year and is facing numerous charges. And that is all on Beyond the Continent at this hour. Would like to hear from you. Please send your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. You can also do that by following us on all social media platforms at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and on YouTube. As always, thank you for watching.